Hey guys, my name is Janome Saha and I'm here with my first video, and it's to present a Sun team to you all. So with the Sun team, I'm running Torkoal, Gmax Venusaur, Incineroar, Duraludon, Rillaboom, and Whimsicott. This is a Sun team with Duraludon and Rillaboom, and Whimsicott. So in normal Sun teams, you run Torkoal in this meta. You can run Ninetales, but at this point, Torkoal is just better because all the Trick Room running around and how bulky he is and his access to Eruption, Heat Wave, and, setting the sun. Along with his abnormal, his really high defense stat. So on Torkoal, I run Choice Specs just for the damage. A lot of people run Charcoal, they run Leftovers, they run Citrus Berry. I run Choice Specs for the maximum amount of damage. He's already bulky. I set it so that he's bulky, but if you add that damage output, Torkoal just becomes a monster if it's not dealt with. Eruption is that kind of move. If it has a higher HP, it does more damage. So Torkoal becomes a monster in Trick Room because it's normally the slowest Pokemon in the field. So I run Heat Wave, Eruption, Earth Power, and Solar Beam. Heat Wave and Eruption is for the fire coverage, and I run Heat Wave along with Eruption because a lot of times Torkoal is not at max HP. If it's not at max HP, Eruption becomes basically child's play, and Heat Wave is just a coverage move. It hits both Pokemon. If you're not at max HP, you can use Heat Wave. A drawback of Heat Wave is that there's like an 81% chance that you hit both Pokemon on the field. So that's like a drawback of Heat Wave. Besides that, it's if you don't have max HP, use Heat Wave. I use Earth Power for all the fire types, all the ground type weaknesses that there are. There's a lot of Incineroars. Like I'm using an Incineroar. A lot of people are using Incineroar. So I use Earth Power to counter Incineroar, Cinderace, a lot of ground type weaknesses. I run Solar Beam. It's very situational. I rarely use Solar Beam. Most of the times, if I go for Solar Beam, it fails. Right? It doesn't do what it's supposed to because most people switch out at that point, or a grass type. It's really weak. It has no stab. The only boost that it's getting is Choice Specs. It's a weak grass type move, but it's very situational. If you're running into a situation where you need Solar Beam, you can tell that you need Solar Beam. So along with Torkoal, most people, along with I, use Gmax Venusaur. With Gmax Venusaur, I run a modest nature like I run the Torkoal. And I don't run a bulky set Venusaur, I run full offense. I just run the wide lens along with the Venusaur. I run a wide lens set, which means that I run Sleep Powder. Sleep Powder is a very valuable move in this meta. It makes people fear Venusaur. If you run Venusaur, a Sleep Powder Venusaur, you can destroy a team in the first turn. So Venusaur is very, with wide lens, it's very scary. It's very good. With Sleep Powder and Leaf Storm, Earth Power, and Sludge Bomb. These are all coverage moves. I make sure to run them because, well, you need the coverage with Venusaur. You need Sludge Bomb for the Toga Kisses. You need Earth Power for, like I said, the Incineroars and the Cinderaces. You need Leaf Storm because, well, it's a grass type and it's one of the stronger grass type moves that Venusaur has. I run a full offensive set with max special attack and speed, along with modest. So I run this makes it so that he's a really good offensive threat. With Venusaur, I also run Incineroar. I feel like Incineroar, Arcanine, and Gyarados. These are really valuable Intimidate users. Intimidate's a really good ability in this meta with Cinderaces, with Charizards, with Tyrannitars, along with any offensive Pokemon that's really a threat in this meta. Incineroar takes care of it with its pivot capabilities, with the parting shot, its double intimidates. It's really strong. Along with its move pool, it has Fake Out, which stops Whimsicots, it stops Indeedees, it stops Togekisses. Indeedees if you have, Rillaboom out on the field in the grassy terrain. Fake Out's a really good move. And then Darkest Lariat and Flare Blitz are more of coverage moves. It does the damage that it's needed. It destroys Venusaurs. It destroys Psychic type Pokemon. It's a really good move pool. I run Figgy Berry on Incineroar because of its bulkiness, it survives hits. The fact that it survives hits makes it so that the Figgy Berry comes into play more or less all the time. Figgy Berry is something that I see activate all the time. It's not even funny how many times I've seen Figgy Berry activate. It's really valuable. If you Gmax Incineroar, it goes back to almost 60%. If you have normal Incineroar, it goes back to almost 60%. It makes it so that you can use it as a pivot Pokemon. You can run Safety Goggles, but I feel like that's only situational. And Figgy Berry you can use in all situations. And most Venusaur don't even sleep powder the Incineroar because they're scared of a Safety Goggles. So Figgy Berry I feel like is the most valuable item. I run a bulky set along with max offense, max attack. I run half defense, 120 in defense, 116 in SPDF, and I run an adamant set so that its damage is actually, it's good. It can beat Venusaurs in one hit if it's not, G-maxed. Along with Incineroar, I like running Duraludon. I feel like Duraludon is one of the best Pokemon to be running in this meta with its Draco Meteor for all the dragon types that are running around. It's Flash Cannon for Togekiss, for Hatterene, for Indeedee. It's Dark Pulse for those Pokemon as well. It's Thunderbolt for Talonflame, for Togekiss, for Gyarados. Its move pool is awesome. And its ability is even better. The Follow Me users in this meta are crazy. It's controlling the meta. And if Follow Me doesn't work on you, that's honestly a really good ability. That's why I like running Duraludon. And along with its move pool, it's both bulky and it has a really good special attack set. So that means that it does damage, it survives hits, and with Assault Vest, the item I run on it survives hits even better. So with the Assault Vest and investment in special SPDF and defense, it survives moves. Maybe not max Starfalls from a Gmax Togekiss. It'll survive it, but it'll have 40 health left, so it won't survive 2. But that's one of the only Pokemon in this meta that I've seen that does that much damage to it, because its special defense isn't that good, but that's why I have investment and the Assault Vest on it, so it does survive hits. Along with that, I run a modest set to make sure that its attack is as high as possible. With Duraludon, I like running the most used Pokemon in this game right now, in the meta right now, in Series 5, Rillaboom, especially G-Max Rillaboom. I run Leftovers, which is not I didn't normally run on it, but I feel like if you run a bulky set Rillaboom, Leftovers just supplements it so well. With the grassy terrain from Grassy Surge, the reason why it's so good, Grassy Surge, right? It gains 40 HP every single turn, along with the Protect that I put on it. It gains a lot of HP. I don't run Assault Vest because I run on Duraludon, and I think that Fake Out and Protect are really good moves that you should be running on a Rillaboom. So I run Fake Out and Protect so that, the Whimsicots, the Indeedees, all of these Pokemon, they can't stop the set I'm running. I run Grassy Glide because, it's a really strong move, and I run High Horsepower because of the fire types, and, Ground is a really good typing. To make it bulky, I run full HP and full attack. It makes sure that it survives hits. Its G-Max is stronger, and I run an adamant set so that Grassy Glide can do more damage than it normally does. With Rillaboom, I run Whimsicott. Whimsicott is, in my opinion, the best support Pokemon out there. It is so versatile. I mean, I've run it with Focus Sash. I've had Moonblast on it. It's a Tailwind user. It's a Taunt user. It's fast. Most of the time, it doesn't really survive all hits, but it can survive hits. It has Switcheroo, which it's very versatile. I run a max special attack, max speed set so that you outspeed Pokemon with a timid nature, and I run a special attack so that its Dazzling Gleam at least does a little bit of damage, because it needs to be able to do some damage as a support Pokemon, and it does because I run a max special attack set. Now with the Whimsicott, I also run Dazzling Gleam because of a situation that I ran into one time with Ndidi and Hatterene. A lot of people run their Focus Sash on Ndidi, but in this situation, they had run it on a Hatterene. Now, with Duraludon is like the perfect counter against this, against that kind of set, but Duraludon, it used its Flash Cannon on the Hatterene, but it left it to its Sash. And because I had Moonblast on the Whimsicott, and the Ndidi Follow Me, it hit the Ndidi, but Hatterene was able to set up its Trick Room. At that point, I hadn't brought Torkoal, so they destroyed my team because I thought that I could take out the Hatterene without facing problems. So now I run Dazzling Gleam so that, first of all, it's coverage move, and it does the damage that it needs to do, and it makes sure sashes aren't left. I run Switcheroo with the eject button because, well, that's more or less a gimmick that I run so that Dynamaxes aren't, they can't just straight up Dynamax in the beginning. If I see that if in the pre-game I see that they're probably gonna Dynamax in the beginning, I run Whimsicott with one of my priority users. That's whether it be Rillaboom, whether it be Incineroar with their fake outs, whether it be Rillaboom with its Grassy Glide, whether it be Duraludon. Duraludon doesn't have a priority move, but it's still bulky, so it can survive hits, so it can beat a Dynamax, it can waste the opponent's Dynamax. So Whimsicott it's a versatile Pokemon that I run on most of my teams with its Tailwind, all that stuff. Now, from afar, if you see the meta right now, Cinderace is everywhere. Cinderace, whether it be on Sun teams, whether it be on beat up teams, whether it be on just full offensive teams like that Tyranitar Charizard team that's going around with the Dusclops. This team, it has a counter, but you have to work around it. With Incineroar, you can counter it with ease. You can counter Charizard, you can counter Tyranitar, but you need to be able to pivot. You need to be able to play it well. Sun team, you never want to start off with Torkoal Venusaur. I feel like that's only if you're playing someone that has no experience in the game, because you normally run, if you see someone with a Sun team in the preview, you normally have to run something that can counter it. Otherwise, you will get wasted and you will get destroyed. And most battlers, they make sure to prepare for Torkoal Venusaur in the beginning. So you never want to run Torkoal Venusaur in the beginning. I normally run Incineroar almost like 90% of the time because of the offense that's just flowing in the meta right now. And then I run Duraludon or Rillaboom. Rillaboom makes sure that the terrain is on my side and makes sure Incineroar gets healing. And then Duraludon is just an offensive threat. It makes sure that the early game, they have to deal with the early game before they can get to the late game. And then I run Torkoal Venusaur, I run Torkoal Whimsicott, I run Torkoal Rillaboom, and then I run Torkoal Venusaur. That's very situational. If I see that they have a grass weakness, I'll run Venusaur. If they have a poison weakness, I'll run Venusaur. Because late game Venusaur is good, but it's not better than Rillaboom, or it's not better than let's say Whimsicott, Rillaboom. So that's the team preview. In battles, this team does well if you know how to use it. It's my set, I'll show battles with it as the days come. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope this team comes to you well. Thanks for watching. My name is Janome Saha, and I hope you've enjoyed.